In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NBA games happening on March 19, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best bet single picks, best bet parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Miami Heat versus Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons have the fewest wins in the NBA this year and have set themselves up for the potential of a franchise-altering moment come the NBA draft this summer. But on the court, when so few wins come out right, chances are that team has burned money against the spread as well. The Pistons sit 8 games below the .500 mark against the spread this year and are currently on a 3-7 against the spread run entering Sunday. They welcome the Miami Heat to town on Sunday evening after the Heat spent Saturday night doing battle with the Chicago Bulls. The Heat are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 road games and 5-14 against the spread in their last 19 games overall. The Pistons are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games overall. The over is 4-0 in Heat last 4 overall. The under is 4-1 in Pistons last 5 overall. The Heat are 4-9 against the spread in the last 13 meetings in Detroit and 0-5 against the spread in the last 5 meetings. The Heat were missing Kyle Lowry in their last game, but they are expecting to have him back in the lineup, which is a huge boost, while the Pistons are still missing Bojan Bogdanovic, Alec Burks, and Hamidou Diallo. The good news there is that Detroit is 8-6 against the spread this year when owning the rest advantage and covering the number by 5 points per game. As a home underdog, Detroit is only 13-19-1 against the spread, but they only lose by 6 points per game, and Miami as a road favorite has an average margin of victory of only plus 0.6 in 17 games. There is always the chance that Miami rests a guy or two given it is a back-to-back, and it is the Detroit Pistons, and I think this Miami team that's already 4-6-1 against the spread when playing without rest, and 4-8-1 with less rest than their opponent, will fall victim to this scheduling spot, at least against the spread. The Miami Heat should be big favorites, but they're as inconsistent as all hell, and you shouldn't expect much different here with them on the end of a back-to-back. The Heat have issues stringing wins together, let alone covering massive numbers, and they're 3-8 against the spread when favorites of 7.5 or more points. So the Detroit Pistons to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Sometimes it's easy to forget that half of all the losing a team does is because they have trouble scoring points, as opposed to the other half of losing being having trouble stopping points from being scored against them. All this losing Detroit has done lately has not brought as many over results as one may think with a Pistons team that gives up the second most points in the league. Detroit's actually on a 3-9 over-under run in their last 12 outings, and if you want to take it all the way back to late January, Detroit's on a 6-15 over-under run in their last 21 games overall. From a historical head-to-head perspective, only once in the past 5 meetings between Miami and Detroit have both teams scored 100 or more, and the Heat have had a tendency to play down to the level of their opponent on the road of late. Miami's on a 2-5 over-under run on the road against a team that's got a losing record at home, and the Pistons are also on a 5-12 over-under run at home. It all adds up to going under this total, as even in the event Detroit gets blown out and loses by double digits as they usually do, I don't think it will be a 125-115 type game with Miami on the back-to-back. Miami will rely on their defense, ranked 6th in defensive efficiency, to close out an outright win late where the score tops out around 218. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. New Orleans Pelicans versus Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets play host to the New Orleans Pelicans on Sunday evening from the Toyota Center. This is a tale of 2 teams who have their seasons going in opposite directions, as the Rockets find themselves simply playing for pride, while the Pelicans are fighting for their playoff lives. With that said, the Rockets have been able to win 3 in a row, while New Orleans is the team limping into this one as losers of back-to-back games. This will mark the 4th meeting of the season between these 2 teams, and while New Orleans won the first 2 meetings, Houston won just on Friday night, so it'll be interesting to see how both teams bounce back. The Pelicans are 7-19 against the spread in their last 26 road games and 3-9 against the spread in their last 12 games overall. The Rockets are 3-0-1 against the spread in their last 4 home games and 4-0-1 against the spread in their last 5 games overall. The under is 7-2 in Pelicans' last 9 overall. The over is 4-1 in Rockets' last 5 overall. The Pelicans are 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 meetings in Houston and 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 meetings. The Pelicans are shorthanded once again as Jose Alvarado and Zion Williamson are both still out, while the Rockets don't have a single player listed on the injury report. As the NBA season winds down, it's becoming increasingly unlikely that the New Orleans Pelicans will be part of the playoffs. Right now they're in 12th place and look in pretty bad shape following their second consecutive loss in Houston 2 nights ago. They have an opportunity to redeem themselves as they face the Rockets again tonight, but after 3 defeats in their last 4 games, people are starting to question whether or not they can beat this team. The trio of Ingram, McCollum, and Valanciunas actually put up solid numbers, but they just weren't there defensively. At the Toyota Center, the Pelicans have gone just 5-15 straight up in their last 20 visits, but they still hold an edge in head-to-head meetings, going 5-1 straight up against the spread in the last 6 played. It's really hard to explain the recent resurrection of the Rockets, who have now won 3 games in a row, beating the Celtics, Lakers, and Pelicans. The 3 wins were by a combined 8 points, which shows just how close their games have been lately. Rookie Jabari Smith Jr. was the hero versus the Pelicans as he drained the game-winning 3-pointer. The question is, can they pull off another upset? Rebounding was a key factor in that win as they grabbed 17 more than New Orleans, which is a bit surprising for such a young squad. There are also no significant injuries to their roster, and without any pressure to deliver a result, the young Rockets can relax and just play basketball here. Losing tonight's game would be the final nail in the coffin of the Pelicans' playoff hopes, so I sincerely hope they are aware of this. It's pretty clear they have more talent on their roster. It all comes down to effort and whether or not they want to win. Time for them to get serious here and complicate the situation in the West even more. So the New Orleans Pelicans to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Offense is not the forte for either squad, but the Pelicans' defense is really good as this will be a low-scoring game. These two teams just played each other on Friday, so familiarity will be a key and keep the total low. The under is 4-0 in the Pelicans' last 4 road games. The under is 4-1 in the Rockets' last 5 after scoring 100 points or more in their previous game. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Toronto Raptors versus Milwaukee Bucks. This Sunday, the Toronto Raptors will travel to Milwaukee to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. Tip-off will be inside the Pfizer Forum. This will be the 3rd meeting between these two teams this regular season, as the Bucks won the last battle, 130-122. The Toronto Raptors are coming into this one after taking down the Oklahoma City Thunder, 128-111. They look great on both ends of the floor, as they will have to stay hot in this one if they want to challenge the Bucks on the road. The Milwaukee Bucks are entering this game after falling to the Indiana Pacers, 139-123. They were not good on the defensive end of the court, as they will have to apply more pressure if they want to pick up another win at home. The Raptors are 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 games, playing on 0 days rest, and 3-8 against the spread in their last 11 road games. The Bucks are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 home games. The over is 6-1 in Raptors' last 7 overall. The over is 19-7 in Bucks' last 26 home games. The Raptors are 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 meetings in Milwaukee and 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 meetings. With 3 consecutive wins over Denver, Oklahoma City, and Minnesota, even the harshest Raptors critics are now silent as they've gotten to within half games and the 8th-seeded Atlanta Hawks in the East. They head into Milwaukee with a ton of momentum, which they'll definitely need after losing both meetings against them earlier in the season. It's always a fun matchup between these two teams. Only 3 and 8 points separated them in the 2 games they've played each other. Toronto enters tonight's game as 9.5-point underdogs. I must say that's a bit surprising considering they are 5-2 straight up against the spread in the last 7 versus the Bucks. Milwaukee suffered an embarrassing loss to Indiana in their last game, 139-123, despite entering the game as 13.5-point favorites and the Pacers being without their best player Tyrese Halliburton. Looking at the big picture, the loss didn't do them much harm as they're still 2 games ahead of the 76ers and Celtics in the standings, but returning to winning ways is a must just as Philadelphia is on an 8-game win streak and trying really hard to catch them. Milwaukee is 12-2 straight up in home games over their last 14 played. They've also beaten 12 of their last 14 Eastern Conference opponents. However, covering the spread has been an issue versus Toronto at Pfizer Forum. Just one of the last 6 meetings there have gone the Bucks' way against the spread. Giannis plays his best when things get serious, and this is one of those games. The Raptors won't go down easily though. Their last 3 losses were all within 10 points or less. So the Toronto Raptors to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. According to dunksandthrees.com, the Raptors have the 25th lowest adjusted tempo rating in the NBA, as they will slow this game down and limit the number of shots that each team takes from the floor. This will keep the total under the number, as neither team will take enough shots to push this total over the number. I also see the Raptors having a tough time consistently scoring throughout this game. They are only averaging the 22nd most points per game, and the Bucks have been legit defensively. The Bucks have the 3rd lowest adjusted defensive rating, and they are holding their opponents to the 9th least amount of points per game. Milwaukee will make it very difficult for the Raptors to consistently score. I don't see either of these teams scoring enough points to push the score past the total. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.